Everybody remembers their first time. Their parents' bedroom, the living room, sneaking into your room without anyone spotting for a quick crafty 10 minutes, only to find out that 3 hours have gone by doing what some people would think, you know what, it's absolutely mundane and boring. We've all had our first time with SimCity, the original management simulator, or the most famous one of all. My first time playing this, well, playing its younger sibling, SimCity 2000 on the PC, was an incredible experience. But back in 1992, long before that, this absolutely fantastic gem on the Super Nintendo was my first real SimCity experience. It's the one I remember probably more fondly. In fact, it's probably my first real simulation game in general, and that's even going back down to the microcomputers I used to own. And it's a great starting point either way, because this port is done extremely well. The original SimCity needed only minor changes to make the game work in a lower resolution and with a controller. It's simple and it's clear. Nintendo and Maxis spent a huge amount of time testing and adding to SimCity, right down to adding an advisor just to help people get up to speed. But I have to mention the biggest frustration in the room. It's one that can be solved if you can buy it on the aftermarket nowadays, but it's one that isn't advised in the interim when you pick up and play the cartridge. This game screams for a mouse. And here's the ironic thing. Nintendo made a Super Nintendo mouse. I have one. It's bundled with Mario Paint. And it made it compatible with games such as Cannon Fodder and Sim Ants and even King Arthur, if I remember correctly. But this game, no. Maybe I'm being a little harsh here, as technically this game was released prior to the peripheral. Not too far ahead, but it was released ahead. But surely if Nintendo's R&D knew that this game was in development, or at least being ported over, or had the potential to be ported over to the Super Nintendo, which they obviously were talking about, then surely somebody sat around an office during the process and just thought, hold on, would this be a good idea to give the dev team, a quick nod to add the feature behind the scenes? However, no. So here we are. We've just got a D-pad which moves the cursor around the screen and makes everything feel so slow. And as the cities get bigger and more elaborate, the concessions made to make this game work on the Snes start to make managing the city feel like more of a chore than an essence of fun. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a cumbersome game. It's a beautiful game, and the management side of things, going from managing your residential, your commercial, your industrial, zoning the right infrastructure, making sure your tax is correct so that people are happy, but you're still earning enough money to pay for the resources, or still having a potential development plan to expand your city to cater for new upgrades or new facilities. Also, while watching your crime rates, your accident rates, particularly making sure your fire department, your police department are in place. Your hospitals are made sure they've got the medical capabilities to handle the amount of people that come into the city. Looking at airports or docks for cargo, shipment and passengers. Looking at railways and road networks. Are they the most active and fluid that they can possibly be? Is there congestion in the areas driving up more smog? All these little things that build in make such a management, a mishmash and careful constructed planning of each area. It adds so much of a challenge, but it's a challenge of your own making. You don't want it to be too hard. Keep it small, keep it simple. Gradually increase it as you get the hang of every particular part. You feel you built something that's worthwhile. And yet this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot to keep you active. Like I say, keeping the residential, commercial and industrial zones and their needs balanced against each other. It's tough enough. But when you deal with pollution and crime, and before the ground population, traffic congestion, it gradually ramps up the difficulty. So where do you fit a mass transit system now in a balanced world? These are the ongoing questions our government have to deal with, that you're dealing with now. And as all SimCities, even this one, there is a scenario mode as well. You're tasked to deal with a number of city-like problems. The classic earthquake scene or nuclear reactor meltdown, which comes from the film straight to environmental disasters of your own city. Which, to be honest, I've never understood why they put them there. Why would you spend time creating all this, creating so much, just to spend so much time destroying everything, and then spend further time repairing said damage? It's like some strange OCD mode where someone could never quite get the right idea of which way they're going to push their limits. For me, creating something like this, creating the environment, almost feels like Lego in a way. You want to build it, yet once you've completed and balanced this out, it's something you never want to touch again, just to keep the hive running as exactly perfect as you can. So overall verdict? There are better versions. SimCity 4 is out on the PC at the moment. And SimCity 2000 is probably the most bona fide classic of the lot that most people would go back to thanks to its isometric interface. But if you're looking for something quick and you want to get into the style of the game, especially on a rainy day, if you have the mini consoles, SimCity on the Snes is enjoyable. It's a bare bones system. It's a cut down version of what came afterwards, but it's still fun. I suppose for a review, I can't say it's mediocre, but I also can't say it's great. So it's not 3, it's not 4. So we have to meet somewhere in the middle. For its time, it was a 4 out of 5. But if you play the sequels on any other format nowadays, there isn't much value here apart from the unique idea of Bowser destroying your city. So let's just call it somewhere between middling to fun. It's something to touch upon, to have a look at nostalgia, but also something to show away and say, I played that. For the latest news, reviews, retro footage, retro reviews, and everything else in between. Until then, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.